Heavenly Father, Creator of mankind and the universe, we thank Thee for the gift of life today and all the blessings You continue to bestow on Your children. We seek Your presence and intervention throughout this program, and we ask that You keep us connected always. We also pray for the success of the program, its coordinators and listeners, that they may find purpose and enjoy what we share. Bless our radio station and the nation, and may we grow to love and unite with each other, irrespective of our differences. All this we ask in Your name, now and forever. Amen.
We are ready, people. Hello, family. Hello. Welcome to the Connecting the Dots Rendezvous CTD. Surely it's a pleasure to be with you again. Another Saturday. It's the final Saturday. Saturday in the month of March. I felt March lingered, Anyways, so we welcome you today. It is the 20th day in the month of March. Welcome to another edition of Connect to the Dots. It surely is a pleasure to have you on with us. Welcome, people. Nuestra casa es tu casa. Our house is your house. program we have been doing for quite a few years now, started in 2020. That's what, already 2026, yeah? Started in November of 2020 and the 14th of November. So we welcome you to Connecting the Dots this morning. Okay, let's start officially. As I said, welcome already. Nuestra Casa es tu casa. What does that mean again? Our house is your house, and it definitely is a pleasure to welcome you. I'm just ensuring that everything is in order. Yes, everything is in order for Connecting the Dots. I have no guest in studio today. It's been a while. I haven't been all alone on CTD in the Ted Daily studio. I think this is the first time for the year, we boy. 18, are we on? Is everything okay? From your end? I know it is from my end. We have a guest, as usual, via Zoom this morning. I was just saying that it's been a while. I haven't been all alone in the studio on Connecting the Dots. Nigel is somewhere as well. Our guest is somewhere else. Hey. Look, I'm afraid. I'm all alone in the studio. Somebody come and meet me in the studio, please. And thank you as well. In fact, let me call Nigel. Let's see if Nigel is ready. Nigel Francis Esquire, good morning to you. Come a while, suple. Nigel?
Hey, good morning.
Well, Nigel,
if I am good. Yes, I am on. I am good. How are we doing?
I'm fine. Nigel, I'm all alone in studio. I'm kind of claustrophobic because something is just not going well. I don't know if that's the correct term, for that kind of situation that I am in. As I said, it's been a while. I haven't been, in the studio all alone. And I think it's the first time for the year.
It feels lonely out there. Right?
Boogie, come a while. Man, yeah. Nigel, what do you call people who can't stay alone?
What do you call people who can't stay alone?
Yes. People who can. You don't see people just can't stay. People like that.
People who can't stay all alone by themselves. Yes. They are social butterflies. I think that's a term somebody used to use.
Social butterfly, but if you're a social butterfly, Nigel, you can.
That means you like to be around people.
Yes.
Right?
But if you can't
so you want to know those who don't like to be around people. Okay.
That's not me, but I feel like that today.
They are what's the other term now? What's the opposite of that? I wonder if somebody can help me early in the mornings. It's very early, but maybe somebody can help me early in the morning. I mean, they're loners, but you don't want to use that word,
I think I did this I did this in a course, once. Something like is monophobia, is that monophobia? I should check that quickly now. What is monophobia?
Yeah, somebody come.
I think it's monophobia,
You like to be by yourself. You like to be alone. What
you
term is
solitude.
Used to describe that?
Monophobia.
Yes,
I'm correct. It's monophobia. Look, I'm looking at it.
It's monophobia, right?
Yes, monophobia.
Okay, good. 100 points for you this morning.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll accept it.
Yes.
Okay,
100 points for you.
But I thought it was solitude or something else. Oh boy. So that's people people who like to stay alone, or who do not like to stay alone. Yeah. What is it?
Yes, people who like to stay alone.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So these are monophobic people. Monophobia.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But there's another term, I'm not sure if that is the same.
I feel there's another one,
I'm not sure if it's for the same. Siri! You look serious. Siri, how do you call someone who enjoys being alone? What? So you're not giving me the answer.
I think someone has confirmed for us it's monophobia. You know?
What is there's another term. I'm not sure what it is.
There's another term.
I am
Okay, yeah.
isolophilia. Isolophilia. What is this again? I think it has a similar meaning, you know. Like you isolate yourself.
You isolate yourself.
Yes. Why? Boy,
Yes.
I tell you, words
no,
Nigel.
we have a loner. If you're a loner, you have monophobic. You
Yes.
suffer from monophobia.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody say also is autophobia.
Autophobia. Okay, autophobia. I guess it's AUTOPHOBIA.
Yes.
All right.
But you know what? Our guest is coming later on, and she might help us out.
Yeah,
You know?
of course, man.
Yes. So she might have the actual.
Yes. So we'll go back to that when she comes.
To
yes.
describe to someone who likes to be alone.
Yeah. But it's always good, you know, to like for me, I just always like, you know, to go deep into etymology, you know. And just understand how words came around, the origin of. I just love this, Nigel.
The whole syntax thing and how it. Yes.
Yeah, and especially
the
Creole was and all of that vernacular
word.
And all of that. Yes.
It is. And when you do languages, it makes it easier to realize that there are lots of words and so on that actually, have either a Latin foundation or Greek or this or Yes, very good.
Yeah, there's a game I play on my phone every time. It's just to
Good morning.
Oh, hi.
Good morning. We're not ready for you yet. We'll stay quiet still.
Okay, but I like your style. I like that.
But it's good to know you're here.
By the way, this will be streamed, Nigel.
I was having internet issues.
Oh, okay.
You have internet issues.
So you're okay now.
All right.
Yes.
No worries. We're gonna connect.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna connect you in a little bit. Fix up your makeup still and your hair and everything, and then we'll come to you very shortly.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's done already.
Normally we have a chit chat and everything.
Beautiful. So we're gonna connect you in a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Okay, no problem.
All right, my dear.
Nigel, by the way, do you remember our song last week, Nigel? We had a song, not sure.
Our song last week. What song we did last week, man?
The CTD song, the other CTD song. How can you come to CTD?
How can you come to
CTD
CTD
get connected?
and don't expect to get connected?
You don't know his dots you go get?
You don't know his dots you go get? Papa met. Yes, Asa, good morning to you. Thank you for allowing us to use that.
Whoosh. When last you come to CTD and the dots hook you, every Saturday.
Okay, we're gonna put a song together. Yeah? We're gonna compose one. You and I put it together and we'll have it ready.
Yes, we'll have it ready.
Cornell, we need to get the thing ready for us.
Yeah.
And then Asa will jump on a verse, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Right. Righty. How was the week for you though? How was the week? Pretty good week?
Yeah, it was a good week. Nigel, I met a lady yesterday.
I think the Dominica Grammar School was involved in something.
Yes, go ahead. And what you want to say again? That's all you want to say?
Yes, that's it.
That's all you want to say?
That's it.
They were involved in what? A competition?
Yes, they were involved in a competition. That's it.
And what again?
I live in the rest.
They're involved in two competitions. So they won one. They won the inter-secondary school debating competition. And yesterday they placed second to your school. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Take a bow.
Take
a bow. They placed second to the SMA and the Rotary Club quiz, secondary school quiz competition.
Yes. So the Dominica Grammar School won the inter-secondary schools debating competition.
The semi-finals in their round. Yes.
Yes. And of course the SMA, yes, SMA won the Rotary quiz competition. They actually defeated the Dominica Grammar School.
That's all you have to say. That's
it. That's it.
That's it. Okay. Yes, Papa.
Yes, that's it.
So Nigel, yes.
Interesting week otherwise.
Yeah, very. You remember the joke last week, right, about the guy and the directions and all of that? It was last week, now.
Yes, the guy who wanted to go get back after his maths teacher.
Nigel, I met a lady and she said, "Girl, who sort?" Checking what? My sort? That's the first thing you can tell me. You not even tell me hello. Girl, who sort? And then she started laughing. So I asked her what she's laughing about. Why am I sort? And she told me about last week and the joke we had. And she told me she's still
Yes, you know,
she called me sort.
Our Dominican people have a very interesting way of greeting you, you know.
Man.
Yes.
I mean, tell me something again else. Who sort? As if, but Nigel, I had another one, you know. How school boys write letters, or how school girls write letters to boys in the 70s and 80s. But that one is a little lengthy. But I will know. I even printed that one too, you know.
I can imagine the things that you used to say to them. Yes.
And then I really realized more sort, because I really like to go for those things. As I tell you, it's not my fault. On my phone is just word games, and you're delving deeper into words and things like that. So not my fault.
Because I was sort.
Yes, my sort. Yes. But let me just give you at least 2 paragraphs. I have it in the way, Nigel. I printed that, you know.
For you can't find it now.
Look, I cannot find it. Okay, I get it. How school boys write letters to girls in the 70s and 80s. So I will not go with all, because if I go with all, I will get a letter saying that you are fired forthwith. Because I tell you, I'll be flat. I'll be flat on the floor in the Ted Daily studio. So anyway, let's get a little bit of this before we move on to what I guess maybe saying, but no. Anyway,
they were saying those 2 sorts.
So the letter goes like this: Dear sweet, time and ability plus double capacity has forced my pen to dance automatically on this Benedictine sheet of paper. I hope you're swimming in the wonderful pool of Mr. Health there. I am also perambulating in the cool breeze of wellness here. Sweetie Pie, the reason why this miraculous thing is happening is because, honey, I love you spontaneously, and as I stand horizontally parallel to the wall and vertically perpendicular to the ground. Now, I only think of you since you are a fantastic and fabulous girl put together as fantabulous. Nigel, let me stop there, because Nigel, that thing has so many things in it. Nigel is stopping there, because no boy, I'm not going. I live in that alone, because Nigel, I'll be flat down.
You can imagine you get that letter and you're reading that, you know?
Why?
Yes.
But probably in my time, if I'd gotten it in my time, no, I know, I still had a thing for wood, so I don't know if I would have. I would maybe be flat down again.
You would probably flat
down.
But
just to impress her, just imagine that, in the 70s and 80s, that's how we were doing it. But now, the language is raw. The language is so raw that
now you just go straight up and see what happened.
Yes. No sugar coating.
There's no finesse no more.
No finesse.
You know what I mean?
What?
Yes, it's just straight to the point.
My goodness. Yeah. And you see how things have changed.
You know, I mean, maybe we should go back to having boys, write letters to girls, expressing their interest in them.
Boy,
and letting them know, they would, appreciate their response. Yes.
The letters, and when you liked a girl, you had to, or you wanted her to be your girlfriend, you had to write to her mother or her father.
Yes.
Also her father, obviously, and we know about
Most
that. And
to the father, yes.
Billy can attest to that. Billy Doctor.
Every time we talk about a letter, we have to remember Billy Doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's happening?
It's a good way of expressing yourself.
Of course. What's happening in the book, Nigel?
Busy. Good morning to you.
Any detentions, any demerits, any...
Well, Carl Coffey James was very early this morning. He hasn't been early for a while, but this morning he was very early. So, of course, he was sending greetings and, highly high all, to you and me, and continued blessings. And doing a London. I was also saying good morning to Ivone and Nigel. Guests from, of course, doing an update in Houston, Texas, Louisiana. Japier, who of course helped us well in terms letting us know the term monophobia and autophobia and so on.
All right.
There's good afternoon from Bradford, the UK.
Okay, I understand.
From the United Kingdom. We appreciate you. Winnie Green, good morning, of course, to Ivos, Nigel, and Dr. Goodfriend and the City of the Fans. Brenda Webster, good morning to you. Miguel Murphy, of course, Grand Rising. Warm good morning to all. Thank you so much, Miguel. Appreciate you connecting me with Dr. EMILIA and getting everything organized over at MDC, Miami-Dade College. We appreciate you, Miguel. Thanks so much. Simon Nichols, good morning to you. Evadne Lawrence. Hey, Vado, good morning. She says good morning to Ivans and Nigels.
Nice.
Make sure you say good morning to Vado. Yeah,
yes, Vado. Morning. Good morning, Vado. I see Vado and all her pictures. Everything is like a ball-by-ball commentary.
She in her glory.
Yes, in her glory. That is it.
Yes. Of course, Winnie Green says, Ivos, you just made my day. Please send this letter to me. Thank you.
If I have to continue that letter, I tell you, I'll
so
be
the letter
fired.
you were reading, she said, please send it to her. And of course,
yes, I'll send to you.
James wants to find out whether it's not you that engineered that letter. Because somebody sent it to you. Astrid Pinard, good morning to you from St. Martin. Those on the YouTube, good morning to you. We appreciate you as always. I know you guys say we don't always log on to the YouTube, but good morning to you. Good morning to you, Liz. Good morning to you. Let's see who else is there. Good morning to Elizabeth Thomas. Happy Saturday, beautiful City family. Looking forward to another great City program. Good morning to you, Liz. And Glenda Butron, good morning to you from Charlotte's Nursery School.
Well, she'll be happy with because she'll be happy because for a guest.
She'll be happy for a guest.
Very
and
very happy.
She will tell us why. But good morning to you from the Charlotte Nursery Primary Charlotte Nursery School.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. And everybody else, good morning. Bobby Thomas, good morning to you. Wants to say listening from London as well. So Bobby Thomas from London, appreciate you. Antonia Ducre Blaise, good morning to you as well. Everybody else. Now, Alvin Thomas is not here, detention. We're not even asking for an excuse. Detention for you.
Detention.
I haven't seen Alicia Griffith yet, so maybe a detention for her too. Yes, and don't tell me it's my book that have the problem. There are sometimes they tell me it's my book that have the problem because they were on.
No, Alicia.
Poor excuse.
Yes, poor excuse.
Yes,
come on.
Yes, you remember any excuse that you gave when you got to the merit or detention and you were trying to get yourself out of it?
But I can't remember, I really can't
remember what you used to say, no?
But of course, I used to give little excuses, obviously. Even if I was shy back then, I could give excuses. One thing, But I can't remember that. But I can just imagine, Nigel. What about you, though? You ever give an excuse? Maybe the dog ate your exercise book, or the faculty fell on your book. So your homework couldn't be presented. Things like that. Yeah, man. Things like that. Well, for the girls, we always had a very good excuse. I mean, when it comes to femininity, and all of that, we would say, what was happening with us, our bodies at the time. So it was.
And we couldn't question that. So we just have to go with it.
Yes.
You just have to agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the excuses children used to give when they want to come out of the situation.
No, Nigel, I mean, I'm just imagining this, just going back in time to these excuses because I tell you, because the way of life back then was much different from what we have now. So the things that you had to do in the morning, even before you went to school. So if you came late, obviously your teacher would ask you why you're late, and you'd say probably you had to clean the foul pen, or you had to go and throw whatever in the river, and things like that. These were the excuses back in the day.
No, what can you use now?
Well, you have a lot, a lot, Nigel. You have a lot.
I was scrolling.
Yeah, I tell you. Yeah, but we had some good excuses back in the day, man. Of course. No.
Oh yes. Man. Those are wonderful excuses, man. You should compile them.
Yes.
Yes. But it's going to be a wonderful morning, right?
Yes, I look forward to the discussion this morning. Quickly, our Dominica corner, just one question. My turn, man.
Your turn.
One question. One question. All right. Okay. Name 5 primary or secondary school principals, past or present, or even deceased. That's all. 5. I mean, I could give you 10.
Some hard question on a Saturday morning. But good morning to you, Mr.
But you always getting help, Nigel, because what I do.
Good morning to you, Mr. Anthony Lockett.
Yes,
from
Messi.
The Dominica Grammar School.
Thank you for calling the Dominica Grammar School first, Nigel. I mean,
yes, and then good morning to you, brother Egbert German. Brother Egbert German.
Okay, so you have 2 secondary schools. Can you please now at least name a primary school? Even a preschool if you dare.
Well, yeah, I mean, good morning to Glenda Butron from the Charlotte Nursery School.
Easy,
I got that one right. And the primary school, the principal of the primary school. You say can be deceased. So good morning, hey boy Froggy. Was some remember Froggy from Rosa Boy School?
Yeah.
Yes,
I remember
the principal back then.
Sure.
Froggy, yes. But of course, was Lufa ever the principal? I don't think so.
But Lufa was chief cook and bottle washer. So even if he was actually the principal, he served in the capacity of principal.
He did without the title.
Yes, of course. Sir Lufa, I mean, come on.
Sir Lufa, yes.
Yes, he serves in that capacity.
Yes, good morning to you, yes. That's 5 already, yes.
Tuna? Oh, you had 5?
Well, I think so. Well,
so you stayed in the Roseau catchment area. You did not even venture outside of Roseau.
Mrs. Dorothy Levy, good morning to you, of the Convent High School. And then outside of that, you had Mrs. Douglas from the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School.
Okay.
Then you had Cassie Brussels, who again just came to mind and it just disappeared, you know. Teacher Rose, thank you, Bobby Thomas.
Cassie
Bobby
Bruce?
Thomas is Teacher Rose. No.
Oh, I know what you mean, but I just
preschool. Cassie, yeah, man. Yes. Oh, I mean, it just slipped me. But and the reason I was going to say that because it was a male at the time, but it's not coming back right now. But of course, we say Isaiah Thomas, which is St. Joe second, it's a St. Joe at the time, still a grammar school, you know. That's my 5 already.
I mean, you passed 5, eh?
I passed 5.
You forgot how to count, man.
Who was St. Martin's School's principal?
We had a lot. You know, I can go way back to Sister Borgia. You have a long history. I mean, I didn't meet Sister Borgia there, but I can give you a long history, you know.
Oh, okay. But who's the principal now, though?
Laurel Saint-Hilaire Morrow.
Laurel Saint-Hilaire, okay.
She received an award very recently, the Business Professional Women's Award. She got an award there.
Beautiful.
That is, I think it's Merlin Saint-Hilaire's sister, the wizard.
Yes, she is. Yes.
Very,
thank you, Carl. Yes, thank you, Kofi. Kofi say Mr. Alvin Buenka Abraham. That's it. Yeah, Abraham Buenka.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's my questions. Good.
Yes. Yeah, you get a pass. I'll give you an 85.
85. I'll take that. Another 55. I'll take an 85.
I only did 15% for myself, but you did well. You did very well. And we have had several principals on there. You remember, right? I know we have had Mr.
Oh yes.
We have had Mr. Lockhart, but just
we had. I think.
Yes, yeah, we have. Did we have him as a guest? Of course, way back when I think
we had him way
because
back
if not,
then,
I'm gonna give myself a beating. Yeah, man, we have Mr. Lockhart.
I think we had him, but way back.
Malivi.
Yes, we've had.
We've had
Brother Jermaine.
Mrs. Dublin. We had Brother Jermaine. Yes.
Mrs. Dublin. We had Brother Jermaine. Yes.
We had Sonia Williams. We had Glenda Bertrand.
We did. Yes, Glenda Bertrand.
And many more, too numerous to mention. Yeah. Time to bring on our guest, Nigel.
Yes, let's bring her on. Let's bring her on. She was saying, I didn't know that I signed up for this morning.
I know it. Nigel, I know I sent you a note last night. I hope you saw the notes.
I saw the notes and I passed on to the notes.
Okay.
So
because I know.
We're okay now.
Yeah, okay, all right. So it's my time to preach as we bring on our guest, Dr. EMILIA Goodfriend. And wow. So when we started connecting the dots in 2020, I never thought that we would connect with so many Dominicans who have prestigious positions abroad. And yes, I know we are smart. Yes, I know, our people, we can fit in well anywhere. But this program, Connecting the Dots, has taught me, how I'd say it, so much about our bringing and the desire to succeed, and to make a meaningful contribution wherever we are. And it has also taught me that, like, grabbing education to master, to master whatever we are involved in, and even how little, it will help steer you on the right path. Saying all of this to say, hats off to today's guest. Seriously, a woman who has excelled academically and who continues to pass on the knowledge to other people. So that's what I like about this thing, because what she's involved in allows her to pass on knowledge, and she hails from the small community of Citronier. And to attain a PhD in human development and family and other things like that, Nigel, wow, it is a pleasure to welcome Dr. EMILIA Goodfriend to Connecting the Dots. I look forward to the conversation. I look forward to the discussion And I look forward to her answering our questions, Nigel. Nigel, it's your turn, right?
Yeah, well, after that,
What kind of party? I don't know what I said the other boy.
I must be saying, but who's that talking?
I know.
But I mean, it is indeed a pleasure.
Yes,
it is
sir.
indeed a pleasure to have her. You know. Mm-hmm. so let me give you a joke. I wonder if I can give that joke. I haven't given that joke to Miguel yet. You know. Okay. So Miguel was connecting me with Dr. Goodfriend. So he sends me.
And please say again who Miguel is before you continue. Miguel Murphy, please say again who he is. He's an honorary member of the CTD.
Honorary member of CTD. He's become, our unofficial marketing personnel and making things happen as Miguel always does, you know. Mm-hmm. So Miguel tell me, hey, I have some more. You might probably be able to connect with her. And so I say, yeah, great idea. We started talking and everything else. So Miguel sends me a text, right? Mm-hmm. And Dr. Goodfriend, that's all in good spirits, okay? So Miguel sends me a text and he tells me, okay, this is the person, Dr. EMILIA Barron, Goodfriend. Me now thinking Miguel saying is Dr. Barron, but is his good friend. So I say, well, okay, I'm happy because it's his good friend, which means that we can connect well.
Yeah.
So I'm about to send Miguel a text and say, hey, Miguel, remember, tell your good friend Emilia that, we on and everything. And then I'm realizing, but no, Nigel, it's not that he meant in the text. The actual last name is Goodfriend. So, I appreciate that as well. We'll find out about Goodfriend in a while.
Yes.
But it was a pleasure connecting with her. We chit-chatted a little bit before that and, before we got on to the program. So it's a pleasure to have you, my dear. We appreciate you connecting with us this morning.
Sure.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. How are you doing?
Thank you. I am doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here.
All right.
Wow. You see that? I want to share. We're ready to go,
Of course.
It tells you we're ready to roll, man.
Yes.
We love that. We love that.
Wow.
We love that.
Yes.
So we always like to find out from our guests from the very beginning, before we get to the doctor stage and what you're doing currently. We like to find out the earlier parts. I want to mention you were from the Citronier areas.
Well, that's what I
tell
saw
us a little bit about that. Yes. So you're from Citronier, right?
Proud, born and raised in Citronier.
Okay, that's where I live now.
Princess Margaret Hospital, I guess. But my mom is from Citronier. My dad lived in Citronier for a while. So some people may know my mom. Her name is Catherine Clement Barron. And my mom used to work at Golden Loaf for a very long time. And then she started working with at the Annie Salon in Citronier.
Wow. Because I live in Citronier, and these are my people. These are my people.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
Let's see. We lived Citronier my entire life until we migrated. I am a proud product of the Charlotte Nursery School. My mom recently told me that she thinks we were the first group of kids who were at Charlotte Nursery. I don't know. I have to verify if Miss Williams if that's true or not.
She's on.
But
she's on the live. Yeah.
Is one I always refer to it as kind of like my building block because I remember very little about being in preschool, honestly. I do remember my friend Shanna Hamilton. Shanna and I used to chew gum in school during nap time. So that's kind of like what I remember about preschool. But from preschool, went to St. Martin's Primary School. And
do you remember the St. Martin Primary School song?
No.
I would like people to sing that song,
I don't. Honestly, I don't.
Nigel, do you remember it? Because I've sung it so many times on Connecting the Dots. By now, we should at least have the first.
Yeah, by now I'm supposed to do it.
Yes.
Sing a line for Emilia of the song.
Maybe I remember.
It starts like Hark the Trumpet Song then. Call it long and long. Every heart is bunged in the surging crowd. Hear the songs of thousands far as I can see, like the river onwards floating to the sea. Girls must be their nation pride, pressing onward side by side. Enter duty sports as we march along. Labor on and see it through, loyal hearts to what to do. Everyone to duty true, march on, march on, march on. You should remember the march on, march on, march on. I mean,
the words sound very familiar, but I can't remember the melody.
All right, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, I went to Martin's Primary School, and I remember pretty much my teachers from every single class, actually. I started with Mrs. Reed. Well, she wasn't Mrs. Reed at the time. She had not been married yet.
Okay.
But then I moved on to Miss Darampo in second grade. Mrs. Reed was Mrs. Reed by third grade. And fourth grade, who was fourth grade? Fourth grade, I can't remember, but fifth grade was Miss Williams. Sixth grade was Mrs. Guy, and seventh grade was Mrs. Morvan, who ended up being one of my godmothers.
Okay.
And after St. Martin Primary, I moved on to Convent High, and that's where I spent my high school education. I
So before you move on to convent, we like to stop you in between here and there, you know. So at St. Martin Primary, what was some of the things you remember apart from your teachers? What were some of the fun times that you had there?
Fun times.
Or anything else you remember St. Martin Primary?
Honestly, for me, and I guess that's a big part of my story. School for me was school. And I did have friends at school, and of course there was fun because like you have other kids, but I was very academically like focused from very young. My mom tells the story of when I was very small. I was standing in front of the couch with my teddy bears sitting on the couch, and I was teaching them how to read. I can't remember that story, but school has always been a huge part of who I am. I made great friends through school. I still have some of my like closest friends are people I met in first grade. So like Charlene Philogen, shout out Charlene. I Shanna from preschool. Like I have these people that have just been throughout my life. One of the things I remember from primary school very clearly is we had to say our times table before walking into the class. I remember in Mrs. Guy, sixth grade class, especially, we would stand in the line, we'd make 3 lines, and everybody going up had, like I say, we had to say the three times table today, and everybody has to say theirs, and we move on, and you would be allowed to enter the class after you say yours. I remember learning to write cursive, and you couldn't write in pen until you could write properly in cursive. So everybody wanted to write in pens, of course. So learning how to do that. I still write the very same way. People like joke and say you know a St. Martin school girl by her handwriting. Still very much true. It was definitely like a very foundational part of my life. And I think it's Mrs. Hill that was our principal when I was at St. Martin Primary. She was from Kings Hill. I think that was her name. I might be wrong, but I remember her. I remember where she lived because she lived close to my Aunt Maria. So Maria Emmanuel. Hi, Auntie. So from there, went to convent. It kind of seemed like a natural progression, really. I always wanted to be a convent high school girl. At convent, I was always involved in terms of like student body wise, getting involved in. I was prefect.
Yes.
When I was in fourth and fifth form, I think, or just fifth form. Mrs. Levy was our principal, and we had amazing teachers. Some of the most instrumental, like people, education-wise in my life are my teachers through convent. I remember the things they taught me beyond just what learning in school. Some of them were great for life lessons, like Miss John Baptist, Audress, and Miss George, and Miss Joseph Makiba. And there were other teachers that hit you with the fundamentals, and like Mrs. Dublin, who I love so much. Mrs. Dublin is probably like fed up with Tysa Hill and I, because Tysa and I were her kids, and we would harass her.
That's a former guest, right, Nigel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I said some of my best friends. We have been friends for almost 30 years. Then there was Miss Prentice, who taught us business and accounting. And I think we had some geography, Miss Prentice, at some point. And Ega was for music, and Matulo, and Majiro was for literature and English, and Majiro was very, very strict about us and the English language. I heard you all talking about origins of words previously. That was Majiro thing. Mr. Macaulay. So in convent, I studied bio, chem, and geography. And I also did, like after school, I did business and accounting. And when I was 17, when like I knew we were going to leave the country soon, I don't know exactly what date, but I knew that it would be sometime very soon. So I did not go to college in Dominica. I pretty much I worked as a receptionist for exactly a month at Reggae Hall Hotel. So at that point, because my dad worked at Reggae Hall when he was in Dominica. So I was very close to my aunt and uncle, Aunt Debbie and Uncle Reg. So I was out of high school, and Aunt Debbie said, "Well, come up and do something." And I had grown up at that hotel. So I spent a lot of time in the office. She taught me things like Excel, and even taught me how to set a table properly and how to use the proper, like how you go from out in terms of the silverware, and how to make a bed the proper way. So I did that for about a month until it was time for us to leave. And then in December of 2002, we migrated to Miami.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, we have a little past to fill in, right, Ivan?
We have lots to fill in.
Yes, we have lots to fill in. But I myself, I'm working my brain because, as I said, I know her mother and I know her people. So you left in December 2002.
Yes.
Interesting. Because when I saw the name on the flyer, Nigel,
yes.
when you told me what our guest was going to be, and I saw the name, and I saw Citronier, I say I know that person, And I was going to call Chrissy, my sister-in-law, this morning just to ask her, who is
Auntie
this?
Chrissy?
Yes, that's my sister-in-law. So I was going to ask her, who is this person? When I say, let me just leave it alone, and you see. Or Josette St. John. But anyways,
that's my cousin.
Of course. It's really a pleasure to have you on. Nigel.
Okay, well, today's your turn, Papa. Is your people out there today?
Yes.
I out.
Yes. So I knew
yes.
Yes, of course. You're out.
That's good.
Nigel.
I am out.
But it's really a pleasure to have her on, and I know we're going to have a very good discussion this morning.
Oh yes, I can
feel it in my bones, yeah, man. Of course, I can feel it.
I can feel it. I can feel it starting already. But what was it like, though? I mean, at convent, or what was it like growing up in Citronier for you? What was it like?
I will start with Citronier. Citronier, like I said, I'm proud to be from Citronier. I remember like asking my mom how did we get our name, and she told me like it used to be like a lime. There was a lot of limes growing there, like citron, and that's how we got its name.
Well, I was correct then. I was correct because I can remember just quickly. I know it's your story to tell. I can remember once my daughter, who was in first somebody time at convent high school, she came with her homework and she had to say how Citronier was named, where her community was named. And I wasn't sure. I wasn't getting Dr. Lennox on church at the time. So I just said, Citronier, it must be limes.
Yes.
And I helped her and she passed it. Thank you for telling me that it really
came from and one of the things that I talk about a lot with people, even now, just professionally and now, like, personally being a wife and a mom and being in this country, is the sense of community that my village offered growing up. That's something you don't get a lot of in the US. It's something that I miss dearly. It felt like Citronier was just a family. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody's woes. I moved around in terms of houses a couple times, but it was just still within the community, just everyone know everyone. My family is very much like a huge part of my family is from Seabreeze. And if people know Citronier, they know Seabreeze. They know the people in Seabreeze. And
George
shout out to
family.
Auntie Annie and Auntie Grace, my love, and Uncle
Uncle
Mark
Mark.
and Mama and Makira, Maki, oh, Macpherson, Imana, the whole George family, my cousins Yannick. And so we all kind of like grew up under this building. My cousin Cohen. So my mom and I lived across the road in another family house, which was right next to Sigat's house, who is Ivana's husband. So
Wow, I'm really
I tell you,
believing.
Nigel.
yeah,
I'm leaving the
That's
program.
family like
Yes,
family right here, you know.
that's
right?
family. That's family
Yeah,
connection right
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yes,
man,
So
I knew
family
as a little
connection right
girl.
now.
yes. So we lived in that house for the first like maybe 5 years of my life or so. We lived there with my aunt Barbara, my mom, and then my cousins Jermaine, Kurt, and then Siobhan came after. And then my aunts were abroad. My grandma used to be a huckster in Guadeloupe. So she would come back to Dominica. And at the time, I was the only girl in that house. So my cousins used to make my life hell.
Just stick up in there.
Um,
Just stick up in there while. Nigel, I'm seeing on the live. Valley Norris is saying it's stuck, not getting through. Want to listen from Germany. So I'm
oh,
not
that's
sure
my
what is.
cousin, Valentine.
Okay, so she could go to YouTube as well if she can't get
Yes,
clear good
if you
reception
can, if the
on
Facebook
Facebook.
is stuck
Yeah,
for you, yes, you can also find us on YouTube as well. So, cousin Valerie, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, a ton of my family everywhere are listening right now. So
Beautiful.
like hi to everybody. Um, and my cousins, like, they made my life hell. They treated me like I was one of them. But whenever Granny came down, I was the girl. So like I was always like kind of tended to, and it so happened that my grandmother and we are a day apart in birthdays. So her birthday was February 19th, and mine is February 20th. And my daughter was born on February 19th. So
Wow.
she has the same birthday as my grandma and also my sister-in-law. So
Okay.
it was always funny, like my granny coming home and telling me, "You almost take my birthday." I'm like, "No, I did not." I'm like, "Me later." But my cousins were a huge part of my life. And growing up in Citronier, we were a tight group. We would have Sundays where we would just come together and like have lunch as a family, who bring what, or things like on Creole Day, they would all cook. Or we would do these island tours sometimes where we would like get in the pickups and go driving around, and we have tons of food. And I remember my cousins and I just like sitting in the back of the vans just like laughing, and like they would be cracking jokes on each other, and it was just always like a big laugh fest. And I was recently telling my mother-in-law about this, where I remember us having talent shows during Christmas. We would have, when we come together as a family, we would have these talent shows. My cousin Donna and I used to sing Silent Night. We learned Silent Night in, it was like, I think second grade. And for some reason, for the next maybe 2 or 3 years after that, we had to perform Silent Night at the Christmas pageant, at the Christmas talent show. But I learned a lot from them. They were pretty much like older siblings, the older ones and the ones who were the same age with me. Like we grew up together. We would have afternoon snack together. My brother is a bit younger than I am. My brother was born 9 years after I was. So hey Slippers, he probably is listening. His name is Casey, Casey Barrett. I call him Slippers. My daughter asked me why last night, but he used to have a pair of slippers when he was about 2 or so. Pokemon, he was in love with Pokemon, and he didn't want to take the slippers off. So I started calling him Slippers, and to this day, he's my Slippers. No one is allowed to call him that, but he's my Slippers. So once he came 9 years later, I kind of took on I guess, the big sister role. I took it very seriously. I love my brother to death. He's one of like the closest people to me. So it was always being my brother's keeper. My mom worked a lot, just trying to make ends meet. We by no means we had money. We didn't have money. Money was very scarce, but my mom always made a life for us. I will always say that I have no idea how my mother was able to create a life for two children at the age that I don't even like in her 20s and 30s. And she created this kind of like stable environment for us where we we knew obviously we didn't have the best circumstances, but it did not feel like we were lacking much. When after my brother was born, we moved to another house, and my neighbors, Eugenia Maglo and Debbie, Tanzania, Malon, they like so some of the best neighbors ever. And we stayed in that house. That house didn't have plumbing. We used the public bathroom and restroom, which was right next to the house. And we stayed in that house for quite a while. Maybe I want to say like 7 6 7 years we were in that house. My mom, my brother, and I. By this point, when my brother turned 2, my dad migrated to the US because things were difficult in Dominica in terms of work. And he had been a bartender for like many years. He started at Astor Hotel that used to be next to DBS. And then he continued at Reggae Hall and Cicero, and then he moved. So once my dad was gone, it was my mom, my brother, and I really just depending on one another, and my mom making ends meet. That woman knew how to make a dollar shake because there was always food on the table. My mom prided herself in making meals every day for us. She would wake up early morning. By 5:30 in the morning, she would have already made breakfast and lunch and made us snacks for school. We didn't have much, so we were not buying snack at school. She was making that. So like burgers and stuff. Other kids were taking my snack at school because of how good my mom's cooking was. And things like Christmas, she always made them special. She would change her curtains out and she get us like a little ham, even though she doesn't eat pork. She gets a little ham and we would make our own decorations from scratch. And once my dad was able to, he started sending barrels home and like groceries and stuff like that. And even then, my mom never said, okay, these are my things. She would get the barrels, she'll sort them, and then she would make grocery bags for family members.
Wow.
It was never just, oh, we get groceries. No, it would share. And I used to think, wow, like we don't have much, but it's the whole idea of community again. Because there were times when we didn't have much, and Auntie Grace would like give me afternoon snack. Auntie Jennifer would give me afternoon snack. We would just depend on one another. And my mom was always one of those people who I think her heart is like the biggest heart ever because she always just gave of herself. Christmas time, barely any money, but she would go and she would buy a little gift for everyone. Like if it's like Shine Union, she would buy a little something for everybody. There's this one homeless lady who used to be around the community when I was growing up, and my mom would look out for her and like give her meals and stuff. And to this day, I heard that she still asks about my mom, and that's who she's always been. We moved to the US and that's still who she is. And she kind of like fostered that in me, this sense of I am part of a community. I am not just an individual existing. I share that with my students because of the classes that I teach. I help them to understand, or I try to get them to understand that nobody exists alone and we need each other and they need to be contributing members of their societies and they can have an impact. They don't have to be like wealthy or high in society. They, as students, can have impacts. So the different projects I've done across time focus a lot on that, the idea of community and how to create impact. And that's all coming from mommy. And then there was my church community and Our Lady of Fatima in Utah. And Auntie Sonia, Miss Williams, Madidier, like Vero, all these people, Auntie Shirley, all these people were my church community, and they were a huge part of shaping me to be who I am. These people were the ones who I felt kind of celebrated me. Besides my family, they always made me feel like seen and told me how well I was doing and reinforced that in me. I would read at church and I was a catechist after I confirmed. So I taught the first communion class for a few years. I was in the youth group at church. And I was really involved in church. So there are a lot of people from Our Lady of Fatima who know my family, who saw me grow up, who were like huge influences on me. And within Citronier, continuing to grow up, like I made friends. Like a lot of my dearest friends are from my community. When anybody asked me, I would specify I'm from Citronier, because I'm very proud of that. And it's for me, that's the kind of like the fundamentals of what makes me me. It's the people, it's the lessons, the messages, the experiences, things like just recently I thought of, for some reason, memory came back of conch shells and Mr. Fafa. He was a fisherman in the community. Him and they coming back with the boats, and I was talking to my daughter about it. She's 5, so I was talking to her about the fishermen. You would hear the conch shell when they come back to shore, and they would have fresh fish, and people will come and people will buy their fish by the seaside. Those types of things, climbing trees and getting fruit, running by the bay with my cousins, which I never learned to swim, which is weird, but that's another story. Like hurricane season, just preparing every year, packing stuff away, hoping we'll be okay. But at the same time, us kids thinking of it as, oh, we get like an extended sleepover, because we're all going to be under the same roof and just hang out for the time of during the hurricane. So we would secretly pray for not too much disaster, but enough that they would have to close the schools for a good while. So we'd get to like continue hanging out. And yeah, that's me.
That's you.
Wow,
that is
Nigel,
the story.
Nigel, I can connect. A lot of the things that she said, I can connect, and I remember her well. Citronier, obviously, even 10 years before I went to live there, I was like a
Anyway, they still
Citronier
not seeing you, Ivona.
You're not seeing me?
Yeah, I'm not seeing her.
What? Oh, joke that.
All they seeing is
Okay, look, you see me now?
Okay, we see
No,
you
you're
now.
back.
Okay, wow. No, but Nigel, I'm listening to her story and I'm like, wow. I'm really happy that we gave her the opportunity to talk about her community, because this is one of the main features on Connecting the Dots. When you can tell us, about community life, where you grew up, how it was for you before you made that transition. Wow. I learned so many of the things that, I can identify with as well. Just to say this, I can identify with a lot of the things that she said. And you see, when we get to her real story, where she is now, you'll understand how community life shaped her. You'll understand the importance of community.
Yes, and I could just hear as well her admiration and her, when talking about her mom, and of course what her mother
Yeah. Oh
has done
yes.
for
Yes.
her, and up to this day.
I promised myself I'm not gonna cry. And I know she probably already at her home crying. So I will try to keep it together because like I am very, very close to my mom and I respect her a lot. I admire her a lot. She to me is the greatest woman alive.
Wow. Wow.
You can cry because
Yes, of
I wouldn't like
course.
people who cry, so that's
But
okay.
I know her mom, and her mom is always like a glue that keeps people together. She was well known and is well known for this, and hats off to you. I'm so proud of where you are now, and I did not realize, as
Thank
I said.
you.
So for me right now, Nigel, I'm not going to talk a lot because I too, I might just shed a tear just to see this little girl, who has grown into this woman and who is doing so well. And she speaks about her brother as her best friend still, sleepers. Oh my goodness, Nigel, I love this
Yes, I
program.
love that. I love that
Yeah.
connection. I love that connection, and something I always say. It takes a village to raise a child, and everything else. And it seems like Citronier has done well.
Mhm.
To get you to
Yeah.
where you are today, and you've not forgotten that.
Never.
And one of the things that will probably tie in is when all this was happening in Citronier, you probably at that time, of course, wouldn't have recognized what it was going to do for you today in your present circumstances and what you do with your students.
Yeah.
No.
We haven't got there yet, but at the same time, have you been able to tie that in to where you are currently as it relates to what happened back in Citronier back then?
Yeah.
Yes. So my classes, like you all mentioned earlier, I have my PhD in Human Development and Family Studies, and my concentration is in early teen identity development. So this whole idea of who we are, what's our story, what makes us us, and how we navigate the world, how our identity is negotiated through our experiences, through our families, through school, through like our society, and how those things have an impact. And when I talk to my students, I oftentimes bring in my own stories because I'm one of those professors. Do not come to my class and think you're just going to sit there. My students know when they come to my lectures, they are going to talk, they're going to interact. I will make a lot of jokes, and they're required to laugh at my jokes. And it is, I tell them things about myself, and it's for another professor, they'll probably feel kind of like guarded, like I don't want my students to know about me. But I feel like being able to tell my students who I am, where I'm from, and I am a proud Dominican. Like you see me, you know I'm Dominican. My daughter even represents for Dominica at her school. What you call those culture days. So I would tell them these stories and these experiences, and in telling them I would realize how much like all these thoughts are connected. There is this speech by Steve Jobs. He A commencement speech that he gave at Stanford University before he passed, and he was talking about his own experiences in life, like being adopted, his biological mother asking his adopted parents to make sure that he goes to college, him going to college and basically dropping out of school, and what that meant, and starting to work on the Mac back then with his friends. And he spoke about just after he dropped out, he would still drop in on lectures. And he said he does this one calligraphy class that he dropped in on, and that actually was kind of like the start of the calligraphy in the Mac computer because he used what he learned in that class to develop that. And he said, like no, hindsight is 2020 and you can see, but being able to go back and reconnect those dots makes him see that everything is connected. And I'm a huge believer in life happens how it's supposed to happen. I believe in divine intervention. I don't think anything that has happened in my life is just chance. I believe it's a lot of prayer, especially from my very much praying mother. She know how to roll a rosary bead better than anybody. So I know my like prayers and family and community and all these experiences, they have shaped me, and I value how they have all shaped me. Like for example, my dad is originally from Petit Savan, and my auntie is me. Karen Jolly is probably listening right now. She is at the Jolly's Exotics down in town. So shout out my cousins there. And I think my sister hangs out there too. One of my dad's other kids, his daughter. And just going visiting countries sometimes and getting to hang out with my aunts and like my auntie Agnes, auntie Isme, my grandma, who passed away when I was really young, but who I still have pretty much a good idea of her spirit. I remember elements of her features, but her spirit, I remember, was just like always so bright and welcoming. And she was like a nice warm hug. And I would get to visit Petit Savan and connect with that side of my family, and my mom making sure that I connected with that side of my family. And it those visits and spending time with my cousins like Adina and Roberta and Sean, and just experiencing that side and knowing it was also part of me. My grandma was part Kalinago, so knowing that even that has a part in my history. All these things like really have shaped me and continue to shape how I move through life today. It's kind of funny because my auntie Grace makes this joke that she says, I very much am still kind of like me, like how I was like as a child, like it's like the same respect, like same manners type of thing, and it will never change. And I always say like Auntie Grace, you're Auntie Grace, like and Auntie Grace is not my biological aunt. She is my mom's best friend. They have been best friends for almost 60 years, but she is
And
very
if
much
I know
my
Auntie Grace well, tears may be streaming down her eyes.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
She already told
I know.
me that nobody is allowed to call her this morning between 9 and 11.
Wow.
So it's like we're having those lessons and being able to connect with family, and they say, you know what, like you're still Emilia. My uncle Mac tells me, he's like, you're not changing. You still sounding Dominican. I'm like, Uncle Mac, but I am Dominican. Like, that doesn't change. I'm a Dominican in America. And you learning all how to be family and how to care for other people and how to value people. And value people in the sense of not what people can give you, but value people in the sense of understanding humanity and understanding that we all play a role and understanding that we need to be there for each other is like very important to me, because those are the fundamentals that I was taught, and those are the fundamentals that I teach my child now. My daughter knows we don't enter spaces without greeting people. She will walk into school and she'll probably be the only one, but she will walk in and say hi to everyone and say good morning and ask the people at the front desk, how are they? And when we're leaving, say goodbye and I will see you tomorrow and have a good day. She is very social. And I'm talking about her a little bit now because Ava Ren, when you see this, or maybe you're listening with your dad in the car, I did talk about you. Last night, I told her that I'm doing this interview today, and she said, about me? And I said, no, the interview is not about you. I said, well, but you are going to talk about me, right? I said, well, you will come up. She's like, Mommy, if you do not talk about me in this interview, when I get home, I'm taking the pink wand away from you.
Oh.
This is what you're doing. So I did
Oh.
talk about you, baby.
Yeah.
And just
This
teaching
is so.
her these things, these values that I was raised on, how to see people. I remember my mom telling me that nobody is lower than you. And nobody is higher than you. When you see people, you don't walk on people. You greet people. You treat the people the same way, whether they are the CEO or whether they are the person who is cleaning the toilets. And I take that very seriously. Like at work, I will make friends with the custodial staff. There was this one lady from Jamaica. She didn't return after COVID, but that was Auntie. When she saw me, it's like, Auntie. And she would say, like, how are you? How's your family? We knew nothing about each other besides the fact that I was from Dominica, she was from Jamaica. And like we had family back home and we had these like immediate family members here. But we got so close and we'd see each other, we would hug. I didn't care whether she was in her work clothes. I didn't care who saw me like embracing her. And when it comes to my daughter in school, that's one of the things I teach her is the people working there, you need to respect them. You need to respect everyone. Everyone is significant. We say this thing, which is my tagline in my email, be a kind human. That is, to me, ground zero. Be a kind human. If you cannot be anything else, be kind. And kindness is not necessarily just doing what other people want or giving in or being a yes man. Kindness is connecting with people on the human level. It's having empathy. Is trying to understand someone's journey, trying to connect with people. Like empathy creates connection, it fuels connection. So being able to relate to people. And at her school, I say hello to everyone. Like all the teachers know us, our family, or the parents know our family, who kids who are not even in her class, their parents know her. So they would tell me like things like, oh, you're Ava's mom. Yeah, I'm Ava's mom. And I'm raising her with those same ideas. When my mom comes to help us with her a couple times a week in the morning, and when grandma comes in, hey, grandma is here. Oh, good morning, grandma. How are you, grandma? Like when my mom's leaving, she needs to give tons of hugs and kisses. I love you, grandma. I'll see you later. And she says this thing that her dad and I say to her. She tells her like or family members when she's leaving messages for them, she'll say, I love you. I'm so very proud of you. I will talk to you soon. See you soon. And it's
Wow.
I
Nigel,
think
I'm
those
loving
are the
this.
things that are
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, Nigel, here's what I have observed. She is very deeply rooted in family and community. You see the trend she has taken, Nigel? I mean, we want to talk about what she's doing now, but she prefers to stay a little on her bringing, church life, community life, the neighbors, her close-knit family. You see where we are right now, her
This is the
daughter.
bedrock, man, the foundation.
Wow,
Yes,
wow,
yes,
wow.
yes, yes,
This
yes.
says a lot. This says a
It
lot about who
does.
she
It does. It
is.
does. It does, and it tells how she's able to use that in her, teaching her students and
Yeah.
everything else, which we'll get to.
And we have not even gone there.
We
But
haven't
she
even gone there
enjoys
yet,
talking about her
But I mean,
bringing
it's
and
such a joy
family and
to hear
community
that
and
story.
friends.
Yeah, yeah. What was it like for you, though, Emilia? And you'll notice that I'm going to keep saying Emilia until I get to the doctor part. So,
No problem.
what was it like for you, the transition from Dominica to up here? Because obviously you left when like, as you said, 17, 18 kind of thing. What was it like, that transition for you?
It was hard. It was hard. Um, my brother and I had visited my dad here a few times before we all moved. But my who I was Dominica. It was what I knew. It's the weather, the humidity, the people, being able to walk from convent to Citronier with my friends and my cousins. And moving to the US, I felt so isolated because we didn't really know anyone here. We knew of other Dominicans who were in the US and who were in Miami, but we didn't personally like have connections. So when we moved there, it was really much like building on the connections that my dad had through like his work and his community that he had built here in the US. And he built a nice little community for himself. And who like my Uncle Philip is one of my dad's best friends. I know Uncle Philip since I mean maybe like 14 years old. His friend Carrie. These people were the ones who kind of like looked out for us at first when we moved here. But I missed my friends. I missed my life. I missed knowing how to get from point A to point B. I remember the first time I visited my dad, there was a Walgreens close to where my dad stayed. And I knew that Walgreens. But then one day we were driving with one of his friends to go buy groceries. And I said, "Oh, Daddy, we're close to the apartment." And he said, "No, we're not." I said, "Yes, the Walgreens is right there." And he said, "Oh, no, babe. Uh-uh. There are so many Walgreens in Miami. There's one on every corner." And I'm like, "Oh." So landmark. Like I can't even use the Walgreens to go home. So once we got here, like my dad wasn't driving. My dad was taking the bus, taking two buses to get to work, to and from work. And my dad worked a lot. My dad is a hard worker. He that man has been working since he was like 12 years old, and he works and he works. And he always says that he's in like what he has is not his life doesn't amount to having riches, like material things. What he has is his family and investing in my brother and I to be the best versions of ourselves we can. My dad didn't want us to work while we went to college or anything here. We were not allowed to. He said, "Your work is school. Focus on that. Your mother and I, we will struggle. We will take people's nonsense. The two of you, you're not taking nobody's stress right now. Your focus is on school. Be the best at that you can be." So when we first got here and we are all huddled in this little one bedroom efficiency apartment and trying to reconnect as a family because we had not been together for several years. So my parents had to reconnect, like we had to reconnect with like our dad. We had to learn how to be this unit of four in this very tiny space. And I been homesick and a teenager. And I got my first computer, I think maybe like the January or the February after we moved. And at that time, this was like the early like connection for the internet phase. So there was MSN, and MSN was on Messenger, and there were different groups you could be part of. And then one of the groups was a WCK group. And in that WCK group, like Dominicans from all over, especially people around my age, young adults, late adulthood, they would come together. And when you get in there, people will ask your ASL, your age, sex, and location. And I started connecting with people that way. So I would come in and so I would say, "Oh, I'm in Miami." And someone else would say, "Oh, yeah, I'm in Miami too," or "I am in Florida," or "I'm in Georgia," or Texas, or whatever. And very early on entering those groups, I came one day and I put that in, and someone sent me a message and said, "Hey, you in Miami? I'm in Miami too." Someone by the name of DJ Smurf. So I'm like, "Who are you? Are you a DJ?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I go to I DJ sometimes and whatever." And DJ Smurf and I started talking, and I found out DJ Smurf's name was Miguel Murphy. And
Say that again, DJ
Miguel,
Smurf?
Yes, yes,
It's
that's a part of
Smurf.
me. That's a part of Miguel we haven't explored.
Oh, you all don't know about DJ Smurf.
Yes.
Um, but Miguel Miguel is a very special and fundamental part of my story because Miguel was kind of like my introduction into being Dominican in Miami. He himself has like had made so many connections, and he knew so many people who were here from DA, and he connected me with those people, and we would all these people, and like we would get together. We were the type of group we would go to Chili's, and it would be like 30, 35, 40 of us just coming to Chili's to sit together, and those people used to be like frustrated with us because how many of all you here? And our group was mainly Dominicans, but then we had people from other islands. The Dominicans in our group were people I didn't know growing up, except one person. So my cousins, Macpherson and Yannick back home, they used to be part of this group, or they asked to part of this group called ST. And ST is this group of young men from grammar school and SMA who are just like really good friends. And because my cousins were my cousins and they were so protective of me, but they allowed me to be around, I got to know the other people within that group, within that circle. And one of them was Javan Lewis. So Javan's dad is Jay's. So I remembered him. I was like, oh, like I know you. It's like, yeah, you're like Gavin and Yannick's cousin. I'm like, yeah. And I got connected with Javan that way. And Javan is one of my best friends. Then Miguel, I told Miguel that, I was going to go to school. Now I had a couple other friends who were here from Castle Comfort. So the Dorsets, Wenham and Wayland Dorset. And Junie, when he is a junior, he was helping me try to get into St. Thomas University, and they accepted me, but they didn't have enough scholarship to give me. And remember, I tell you, we're four people in this tiny efficiency apartment. My dad is working, but he's not making any sort of big money. We don't even have a car. My mom starts working, and initially she starts like working at a little hair salon. Who like there was a Haitian lady who ran it, but she wasn't making like anything significant. So I knew my parents didn't have money to send me to college. And when I saw how much St. Thomas was like asking in terms of tuition and how much they would give me in scholarship, I knew that that kind of money, I would require a loan for it. And I was very uncomfortable with the idea of just starting college and taking out such big loans. Then I said, you know what, maybe I'll pause on St. Thomas University. So from that December until the August of 2003, I was home on MSN, day and night, religiously connecting with people and like kind of making friends and like hanging out with Miguel. Miguel used to take me all over the place. He had a little blue Jeep, and we'd be in that Jeep, and Miguel would come over and be like, yo, you wanna go like up Tampa and check our friends up there? And we would like get in the Jeep and just drive up to Tampa and things like that. And through Miguel, he said, my brother is coming here for college too. And his brother is Fitz Murphy, Fitzy, another one of my best friends. I had not known Fitz in Dominica, but I knew his mom, Mrs. Murphy, and she was a teacher at St. Martin Primary School. She never taught me, but I knew her. And Fitzy and I were now going to go to Miami-Dade College. But even at Miami-Dade College, I knew I would need to take out a loan because I didn't have the money. So one day I filled out my financial aid form and my loan form, and Miguel and I again in the elevator to go down to financial aid and the bursar's office. At the time, Miguel had a part-time job at Miami-Dade College, North Campus. So we're getting to the elevator, and there's this man who is in the elevator, and he sees Miguel, and he's like, "Oh, Miguel," and whatever. And Miguel knew him because he was the director of the honors program, and Miguel had been in the honors program. So he told Miguel, "Who's that?" And Miguel said, "Oh, that's my friend EMILIA. She just moved from Dominica recently." And he said, "Oh, are you planning to come to school here?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to try, but I'm going to go get a loan right now." And he said, "No, come with me."
Wow.
So instead of going down to the bursar's office, we went up to the 3rd floor. And we went into his office, and this man is like just talking and throwing a whole lot of information at me, and "Oh, how did you do like in high school, and do you have like any sort of records?" And my mom has every report card, so she had all records for everything. And he said, "Okay, well," it's like, "I think you can be part of our group." I said, "What group is that?" And he said, "We are just starting this thing called the Honors College here at Miami-Dade College." So we are a college within the Miami-Dade community. We are a specialized program. Students have to apply. They go through interviews to see if they can get in. I think you have a great chance. So tomorrow you have an interview downtown Miami. And I'm looking at Miguel like, "How do I get downtown?" Miguel said, "Don't worry about it. We'll work on that." And I said, "Well, you need 3 letters of recommendation." I'm thinking, I don't know people here. Who am I going to get to recommend me to go to this program? He said, "Well, you know what? In this program, we pay your tuition, we pay for your books, and we give you a stipend every semester. That's money going into your pocket. You will be part of this elite group of students. All you need to do is maintain a 3.5 GPA. You need to be involved in things on campus and show that you are a scholar. That's what you need to do." And I'm thinking, 3.5 GPA, how many A's I need? Oh, that's done. So we leave his office, and I'm just overwhelmed. And I am panicking because I need 3 letters of recommendation, and tomorrow I need to find myself downtown Miami. And Miguel said, "Okay, you know what? I will take you and Fitz to the interview." And Fitzy and I went to the interview, and we got in. And I have gotten letters of recommendation from my dad's friends, that his community that he built in the US. So they wrote me letters, and we got into this program, and we're like the guinea pigs. We're the first group of students in this program. And I remember on our orientation day, we come into this huge like conference room. And it's students from North Campus. Miami-Dade College is the largest 2-year college in the United States. We have 8 campuses. So at the time, the Honors College were at the 3 major campuses: Kendall, Wilson, which is downtown, and North Campus, which is where we were going to go. And we're all there in this black, like, shirts they gave us, with this polo shirts with Honors College on it, and we're feeling official. And a woman came into the room and said, "You know what you are? You're nerds. And you know what nerds are? Nerds are people who rule the world." And I was like, "Yes, I buy in. Yes, we will rule the world." And we sat down at a table, and the people around us, we found out like this person was from Jamaica, that person was from Haiti, like this person born and raised in the US, but they have Haitian relatives. And we're all here, and we're connecting, and we are the kids from the North Campus. And us kids from the North Campus, we were a bunch. We were the most diverse group in the Honors College at that time. We were a lot of Caribbean students. There were some African students and other American students. And I'm still homesick. I still miss home from my core. And that first semester, I asked, is there a club? Because I found out there are student organizations. I said, well, is there a club I can be part of? And there wasn't a Caribbean Students Club. There was a Haitian Igbo club. And anyone could join, but it was the Haitian Igbo club. And I said, well, there's no Caribbean club? No. So I went into my director's office, the same really tall man who was talking to me, and Dr. Burris. And I sat down. I used to go into his office. He had an open door policy with us. He was kind of just like our dad. So anything we needed, we'd go to Dr. B. So I imagine that, and I sit down and I said, Dr. B, I have a problem. And he's like, what happened? I said, you all don't have any Caribbean Students Club here. And he said, well, fix that. So what do you mean fix that? He said, you start a club. I can start one? He said, yeah, you start a club. I found out what I needed. I think I needed like 10 members to start or something. I had to create a constitution, and we needed an advisor, someone who worked there full time. We got a gentleman who worked there full time to be our advisor that first semester because Miguel was part time. And I went through our department and I was just pulling friends. I was like, yo, you want to be in this club? You want to be in this club? Like, Fitz was already on board with me because Fitz and I were like going everywhere. So Fitzy, and then I pull another guy. I was like, Yuri is from Jamaica. I was like, Yuri, Dazwell is from Jamaica as well. Like, Tochi's our friend who was from Nigeria. Like, Tyrus, come. They had another friend, Ebony. Her family was from Haiti. Pierre was Haitian. Pierre was kind of like our big brother because Pierre was a non-traditional student. He was older coming back into school. And we had one other student from Puerto Rico, Stephanie, because she loved being around us. She's like, oh, you all are so cool. I want to be around you. So we create this group. And then a few other students joined. And I said, okay, guys, we're a group. What should we call ourselves? And we sat down in the conference room just like brainstorming, and then we came up with Tropical Beat. So like, okay, Tropical Beat. And then our friend Yuri from Jamaica, Yuri said, yeah, man, Tropical Beat. Where the spice of student life. You know, Caribbean people wear the spice. So like, oh, that's our tagline, Tropical Beat, the spice of student life. And we created this organization. And at first we were not identified for the next semester. We had to wait until the following fall to officially become a club, which would be fall of 2004. But we started being a club from the get-go. And I said, all right, I want to put on a Caribbean festival. I want to show people here who we are. And my friends, I well, let's do it. Whatever I said, let's do, they were like, okay, as long as you leading the charge, we're doing this. So that spring of 2004, I said, okay, well, we need help. And Dr. Burris connected me with Dean Harrison, who is now Dr. Harrison, the vice provost of Miami-Dade College, as in the whole 8 colleges put together. So Dr. Harrison at the time was the dean of students. She's from Jamaica. So Dr. Burris said, I'm sending you to the dean of students office. You will meet Dean Harrison. She's from Jamaica. She's a proud Caribbean woman. She will be able to help you and mentor you through this. I went to see Dr. Harrison and we spoke, and I told her about my love for being Dominican and my pride. And she spoke about her pride for being Jamaican, and she thought the club was a great idea, and she started to champion for us. So I said, you know what? I want to develop this organization, this Caribbean festival. What do I need? So she helped me kind of like figure out the logistics. And then we started inviting guests. So we got consul generals from the different countries of the Caribbean. I think we had like 6 consul generals, and then we didn't have a consul general in Miami from Dominica, but Mr. Jeffrey Brisbane, RIP, I knew Jeffrey like growing up. And like he was friends with my dad through Cicero and his daughter Kelly. We were in high school together, and Kelly and I became really close. And she was one of the reasons why I was homesick, because she and my friend Chantal Louis, those were my friends, and I was missing them. But we reached out to him, and he said, definitely, whatever you need. So we had this panel, and we had a panel discussion about the kind of like the role of the Caribbean in the US. How, like, what do we contribute? And all these students are in this room listening to these people talk about the Caribbean. And then afterwards, Miguel DJ'd. DJ Smurf came out. DJ Smurf came out whenever we needed him to like DJ a party or something for us. And my mom made food. My mom made sancoch and bakes and like, and that's when I first found out that sancocho is a dish in Puerto Rico. And one of my Puerto Rican classmates was so excited because she's like, I haven't had this since I visited my grandma in Puerto Rico. And people started realizing, oh, there's connections here. And we had students like one of our other friends, Tyrus, is from Bahamas. And DJ Smurf is playing the music. We're eating food my mom made. Everybody's having fun. And then we had gotten a connection, and Mr. Carl Jacobs from Trinidad. He is an old soca artist. He and his daughter, Trini Jacobs, they came and they performed. And people were passing, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? And we collected members for our club and stuff, and we became Tropical Beat. And Tropical Beat now has been part of Miami-Dade College for the past 22 years. Proud of them. Once we got into our next year, and we knew we were going to be graduating in 2005. Miguel, by this time, had gotten full-time at MDC. So I said, Miguel, I need you to become the advisor for Tropical Beat, because he was kind of the advisor already. He was doing the advising role without having the title. So I said, will you officially become the advisor? So Miguel became the advisor. And I said, Miguel, I'm leaving my baby in your hands. Please look after it. Please try to continue what we started. Dr. Harrison was there on board with him. And the next year, we had other incoming students into the honors college the year we left, which is, so we had fall 2024 to spring 2025 our year. We had like stuff, we were very involved in campus life, and we did community service and everything. And then when we were leaving, we had a new group coming in, and Risha Alport, Fitz Smith, those were friends that were coming in, and they like started like continued the Eve board, and it continued like that. And like Chester, Wrighton, and like these other Dominicans were coming up, and they will be part of the E board, and other people from the Caribbean were being part of the club and being part of the E board, and Tropical Beat just to the point that now it is formally known as Miami-Dade College's Caribbean Students Association, but it's still very much Tropical Beat. And they have done amazing things. I am so proud of what I started. And it was all because I was yearning for community again. I was yearning for community. I was yearning for Dominica. I was yearning for connection. And I realized that here were all these other students who were immigrating from the Caribbean and other countries, who were also yearning for what they identified as home. And together we could support each other. Like my Tropical Beat crew, we helped each other through college. We studied together. We had parties like every Friday night. Miguel's mother's house was our house. Like it was, yo, are you coming over tonight? Sure. He would set up the big speakers, and we would invite friends who were from Dominica who had other colleges. So students from FIU, students from St. Thomas University, students from University of Miami, FAU. And now we had this group of Dominican and other Caribbean students just hanging out together, building connections. Connections, I can tell you, have extended into our lives as professionals. I am still very much in connection with a lot of my Tropical Beat friends, and we've done amazing things for ourselves as professionals in this world. Like from my group, we have lawyers and doctors, and Pierre is a maestro in an orchestra in Haiti. Like Fitzy is an architect, and like I think to be one of the best architects ever in South Florida. he's getting there. And we can look back and fondly remember us just being college kids doing this thing, and we got a lot of pushback at first from different areas in the college for this thing, because why you all need a Caribbean Students Club? Like, why? What? We have other clubs, you all should just join them. Things that we were doing not being approved, and me having to go to Dr. Harrison and saying, I need your help. Can you help me out there? Can you call someone? Can you tell me what to do? And now, like, seeing how it has grown and hearing from other past students and even current students of the club, hearing things like, this saved me here. I would have gone back home if I didn't meet my Tropical Beat friends. Tropical Beat was my family in college. I was able to feel comfortable in college because of these people. I got into a lot of community service because of Tropical Beat. Relationships were formed, romantic relationships. So some people met their partners in Tropical Beat. So that was like kind of where the first 2 years of college brought me. Wow. MDC and Tropical Beat, and no student loans.
Wow.
Nigel, let us look at the book for a short while, Nigel. Some of the comments.
Yes.
Before we
some of the
on.
comments that's been going through. Let's see. Good morning, everyone's Nigels and guests from Marlon J. Good morning, cuz. That's from Marcella Nelson. Good morning,
Auntie
from Aruba. Karim Bertrand says good morning.
Hey, Creamy.
From your childhood sweetheart. Sonia Williams, of course, earlier said that's my daughter.
Mom.
Yes.
That's my mom.
Yes. She says her mom is one of the nicest people I know. Great show, Emilia from Marilyn Allen.
Hi, Marilyn.
Yes. Alvin Thomas was late, but he says good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Andrew Carbon as well says good morning.
Oh, Andrew and I met through Miguel at MDC, and then found out
Andrew says good morning. Great program. Your influence at MDC will last forever. Sandra Norris was a little late, but she says good morning too.
Good morning.
Let's see. Karel Schillingford earlier had said good morning. Ivona, Nigel, and your guests watching and listening from St. Croix.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so we have St. Croix, we have London, we have Texas, we have Germany. Good morning to everybody.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Over on the YouTube as well. I mean, I know Glenda Bertrand had said good morning earlier, but she says, so proud of you. You've made Newton and Citronier so proud. So proud of this phenomenal Dominican woman of exemplary excellence from Liz. Elizabeth Thomas says that.
Thank you.
So, book is very busy.
Sounds like it.
Yes.
And everyone is offering their congratulations to you on what you've been able to do, especially as you mentioned Tropical Beats and the Caribbean Students Association. I remember coming down to the college at some point and being part of a panel discussion as well, invited by Andrew Carbon and Tropical Beat and Miguel and everybody else. So thanks for that opportunity as well. One of the things you mentioned, though, because time is, I mean, we need another hour for this.
Oh my gosh!
But time is creeping on us, But one of the things you mentioned that you look at is adolescents' identity. Tell us a little bit about that, Dr. Goodfriend. You say I say Dr. Goodfriend now because we come into that section of the interview.
But let me see how fast I can talk about this. It's 15 minutes, not a lot of time. But after MDC, I went to Barry University, where I was part of this program called the Mark U Star program. It was funded by the National Institute of Health. It was another very specialized program. Barry is a private university, private Catholic university. I had to apply to this program. I was the only psych major that got accepted to the program. They were only taking one psych student. There were students who were already at Barry, who had already been doing research, who definitely had the resumes to be in the program. But I think one of the things about me that I value the most is I am able to connect with people on a different level. I was in there in my interview, and by the end of the interview, one of my interviewers was asking me if my mom can come make them some food. So I think just my the approachability and my personality was very helpful, as well as my professionalism. Dr. Burris had prepared me for that interview, so I kind of like went in knowing how to. One of the things I credit the Honors College for is they helped shape us into these young professionals. We had breakfast one time with one of the former first ladies. We had etiquette courses. We dealt with like dignitaries who came to the college and ushered them around and stuff. So by the time I got into the Barry and I'm part of the MARC program, we were required to do research. And my undergraduate research for my 2 years at Barry was looking at acculturation. So acculturation is kind of like integration from your home culture into your host culture, and looking at why biculturalism. So when you hear people say things like, I'm Dominican American, I am Jamaican American, I'm Cuban American, like this is what biculturalism is. And we know the biculturalism model is the most successful model for immigrants, because it is you holding on to essences of your native culture, your home culture, and you taking parts of American culture, if you are in America, or Canadian culture, wherever, and you fusing the two together. So I never saw myself as like I come here and no, there was never a goodbye to Dominica. There was always I will create a bridge for myself to home. So if somebody enters my car, they will hear me playing Booyah or Soca. My daughter, I love Signal Band, and my daughter would tell you about Booyah music and how Signal Band Angels in the Sky is her favorite song. She played for her friends at school during Cultural Week. And I chose to study that because of I was going through the acculturation process myself. So I worked with another research team at FIU who had connections with my mentor at Barry, and I attended conferences, national research conferences around the country, presented my research. And then it was time to apply to grad school. And I'm applying to grad school, and we were required in our program to apply to 10 grad schools. Now, the Marcus Star program is a very prestigious program, and our tuition was being paid. We were being paid to travel and go to these conferences and present, and we were also being paid a monthly stipend. So I was being paid to go to school, basically. And I was at one conference as going between my junior and senior year, and I met a woman from a university I'd never heard from, Texas Tech University. I'd never heard about Texas Tech, and it wasn't on my radar. But this woman had remembered me from the very first conference I had attended as an undergrad. I happened to be at this grad level conference with my mentor, who brought me into this environment knowing I was going to be the only undergraduate there. And the people there remembered me because I was the only undergraduate. So this woman, she was in the human development field, and her name was Gwen Sorrell. And Dr. Sorrell saw me passing by. She had like a table, because you could go do kind of like walk around and meet the different colleges. And she called me to the table and she said, "Undergrad, you're here?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm here." And she said, "Have you considered us?" I said, "Well, I've pretty much like applied to all my schools." And she said, "You should consider us." And she gave me like their brochure and everything. And I spoke to my mentor, my undergrad mentor, about it. And she said, for what you're interested in, this is one of the best schools for you to attend. So she had a best friend, Dr. Nancy Bell. And Dr. Bell was my mentor extraordinaire. She has passed. But she was like a mom to me. She was a mentor in every sense of the word. She made me a scholar. And Dr. Bell wasn't really taking any students at that time, but Dr. Sorrell told her that she needed to meet me. And she met me and she took me as her student. And it was one of those things where I came into grad school. I wanted to do pure research. I wanted to do research in identity. That was Dr. Bell's field. And through her, did all this research, identity research. But then I wanted to concentrate in pre-adolescent because in the town Texas Tech is, Lubbock, Texas, they had just opened the very first all girls middle school, and did not have all girls like same gendered schools before. So it was a huge thing in town. And I did my master's and my dissertation research with girls who were attending that school. So I followed the girls for a few years through their middle school years, and my interviews, like my area was focused on this sense of being a girl and how being at an all-girls school is shaping their sense of who they are and their identities. Because that school was it was big that it was coming here. It was spoken about all over Texas. It was on the news. The kids were on the news. Like they had major funding from an organization in Houston. So people knew them, and they had to apply to the school. So they were special. And during that time, Hillary Clinton was also running for the Democratic seat in for U.S. government and president. And the girls were talking about how they were going to get to Washington and they were going to go visit the White House and who wanted to be like Hillary Clinton. And like they started seeing themselves as these potential powerful women, and weaving that into their identity. And for a long time, identity had been studied as something that you get when you become an adolescent based on old theory. So it's this idea that when you become a teenager, you need to create a sense of self because that's what's going to make you into the kind of person who can get through adulthood. But in more contemporary identity research, we talk about identity being something that we negotiate through life, because the reality is my 5-year-old knows who she is. If you ask her, she will tell you exactly who she is. Ava ran Goodfriend, and she is a queen. She says that she's not a princess. My cousin Nato always gets on her for that. And so, but her sense of self and my sense of self are a bit different, right? Because I know myself in more intimate ways. I have more experiences that have shaped me. And I will continue getting to learn who I am as I continue through life. I continue having experiences. I continue meeting people. I continue building connections. I continue having struggles and pains. And so from that research, from my grad school research, we published in several scholarly journals. And we had a team of researchers in our group that we all were studying identity, but in different ways. So we had different studies we were doing all at the same time. And there were a couple other publications that came out from like our lab. And once I was in my last year of grad school, we had to do a teaching practicum. At that time, I did not want to teach. I had no interest in teaching. I told my mentor, I was like, I don't want to do this. Why are you all making me do this? I am a researcher. And she said, Emilia, I know research is a huge part of you and it is your passion, but just keep an open mind. Go teach the class. So I had a supervisor, and I was kind of TA in her class at the time, being a teaching assistant. And then the next semester, I had to teach my first class on my own as a grad instructor. And after my class, I went back to Dr. Bell's office and I sat on her couch and I said, you know that thing I was talking about? I think I want to go into teaching. I think I want to go to a teaching university. I don't know what is going on with me, but I want to teach. Because I was able to connect with those students in that class I was not very much older than them. I had got my PhD at 27, so I was just about like their age, just a few years older. And they connected with that. And just the type of person like I am. I'm very open. I always tell my students in our classroom, we are a community. So I use the community of learners model for my classrooms. And first day of the semester, I always tell my students that in this community, I don't know everything. I am not up here and you are down here. We are learning. We're all learning from each other. So as much as I am sharing my knowledge with you, share yours with me. Let me know what you know. Tell me about your experiences and how you think they connect to what we're talking about. So there's always been kind of like this idea. And I finished high school in 2013. After kind of like a year of hiatus from writing my dissertation, I was having a really bad case of writer's block after some like trauma. And through therapy, my therapist helped me start writing again. I wrote my first page after almost a year sitting down in my therapy session. And she just told me, tell me about your research. And as I was telling her, I was typing on the computer. And she said, bring your computer back the next time you come in. And then within 3 months, I wrote my dissertation and defended.
Wow, Nigel, this is deep.
Man.
This is deep. And you really understand who she is, because she mentioned, of course, her dissertation, and the main concentration or the fundamental study on this. It really tells who she is, Nigel.
It does.
From her Citronier days to where she is right now. You can just connect the dots. You can just link it.
Yes, from St. Martin Primary to there,
Wow.
Charlotte Nursery. From Charlotte Nursery.
From Charlotte
Nursery.
I forgot. I'm Glenda Bertrand, sorry. Yes, from Charlotte Nursery.
Yeah, but Doc, how do you? Because I'm seeing that we are running out of time, and there's so many things I would like to ask though. But how do you now maintain a healthy work-life balance? How do you maneuver the overlap between, of course, your work and your private life? Where do you find the time? Because you put your all into everything you do, so I get the sense that you're just always on the move.
Always. Sometimes my husband has to be like, babe, just stop. For tonight, just stop. Balance is something I talk about with my students. I teach this one course that is like psychology for personal effectiveness, and I think it's one of the courses that every college student should take. It's this class where we talk about like how to shape into you and your interaction with other people, your relationships and your professional life. And one of the things I talk to my students about is this idea of balance. Sometimes we think of balance as 50-50, right? I need to give 50% of my time to this and 50% of my time to that. But that's not the case, because we spend so much time working during the week and a huge chunk of our time sleeping that there's not going to be like a balance there in how much time you can spend on personal life. My husband, when I met him, I made it very clear to him of who I am. I said, my name is EMILIA Barron. I am a doctor. I have my PhD. I am a college professor. When I met him, I had just entered my position. So I don't have tenure yet. Basically, tenure means that you are like, you're in. When you receive tenure, you are basically in, which means that you do not go through the same sort of like evaluation as newer professors. You have continuity in your job. And he knew from jump that there was a lot I wanted to do. There was a lot I had planned for myself. And we together, my husband is a middle school teacher, but he is a biologist, so he's a scientist. And together we kind of worked a lot, but we enjoyed life together. And we got married after a few years and tried to have a child for 3 years. So our daughter is our miracle baby. I guess that's a story for another time. And when she was brought into the picture, things got even more difficult, trying to manage having a child and a spouse and work. And I commute about an hour and 15 to an hour and a half to work each way, because I live in North Miami Beach and I commute all the way to Kendall, Florida. So it is a distance. My husband and I have a really good partnership where we pick up where the other one is falling off. So I may be at work until 6, 7 at night. He will take our daughter to go taekwondo and like use WhatsApp and video call me so I can see the class while I'm working. Or he has meetings after school. I'll be the one to be for our daughter at whatever activity she is at. And we are trying our best to like live our life and ensure that we keep our family at the center. And we always talk about how we are a team. And our family is our community, our first community, and we work together as a team to kind of ensure the betterment of this family, of this unit. We're very huge on family. Our daughter is very huge on family because it's something that we talk a lot about. We're very close with his family. So I think my mom-in-law and my father-in-law are listening right now. And my sister-in-law and her family are in New York, where we see them when we can, as well as on my side, my dad and my mom are always over. My mom helps take care of my daughter. My brother lives in New York. I think my brother is the coolest person ever. So he works for the Tribeca Film Festival, and he travels. My dad says he travels for work because he's always so in another country somewhere. So my brother, he comes home. Sometimes we visit him. My husband's from New York, so when we go to New York, we go to New York often. Connect with him there, and I just try to maintain balance best I can, take care of myself. I love working out, so that's a huge part of my life. I make the time every day to work out. I love the work that I do. I love my students. I love being a professor. I love being a professor at the institution I'm at, within the department I'm at, because I have some of the best coworkers ever, who have kind of become like family to me. And spend as much time with our daughter as we can, always reminding her that she is our number one priority, and we do everything that we can to ensure that she has a good life and creating that for her. And a good life is not just about the money part, but also us being present and us taking the time. Like every night we read to her before she goes to sleep. It's one of the things that's done. She gets a bedtime story from the time she was born every single night. She gets a bedtime story. Then she gets about 10 minutes of playtime with us. She loves creating these imaginary worlds. So she will talk about, oh, we are in Oz right now, and I'm Alphaba, and you're Glinda, and Papa is the Tin Man. And we do that, and then she likes us telling her stories. So she will give us a prompt. So, Papa, tell me a story about the Tin Man being locked up because he didn't trust Alphaba. I mean, create a story for her. And then she goes to sleep, and we get a little time together and start the next day all over again.
Start the journey all over.
Yeah, next, right now they are at a Renaissance festival. I was supposed to go, but then this opportunity came up, and my husband was like, you have to do this, you have to do it. So I'm here and they're there, and we'll see each other later.
We appreciate him and appreciate her allowing you to behave as this morning. As we kind of wind down, I know time is against us. What do you tell young girls who are in Citronier right now, or in any other village in Dominica? What would you like to say to them, Dr. Goodfriend, as to your journey and what they can achieve?
I think the first thing I would say to them is remember who you are, fundamentally. There will be a lot of moments in life where people and situations will shape you, and it's only as much as you choose for it to shape you that it can. Remember who or the people in your life are. Stay connected. Like my Facebook is loaded with family members, friends, like my cousins, like shout out Pusha, Patricia, like Gilmore, Zaya, the Oscar family, like all these people. And then my cousin Jamal, who is my brother. We refer to each other as brother and sister. These these people I stayed connected to. And these people were instrumental in my life because they helped take care of me. They helped keep me safe. So pay attention to those people, stay connected to them, and know that you can achieve great things. I think the opportunity to come to America was helpful because it gave me more opportunities than we may have in the Caribbean. But I again think that we can all make a difference wherever we're at. You can be influential. I have done these homelessness projects with my students, and the idea is, hey, we're going to connect and we're going to do something. So remember who you are. Keep faith at your center. Always keep family close. Don't turn your back on family. They're necessary. Build great relationships with people. Always remember, people may not remember what you did for them, but they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember if this person came with good energy, if this person was, they will remember. So be kind, be open to new experiences. You never know which of the dots they're going to connect for you, and always be willing to learn. My mentor, Dr. Bell, used to tell me, you continue to learn. You should want to continue to learn as long as you are breathing. Because when you stop learning, that's the moment you die. And she was a strong believer in that. She continued being a professor into like just late years of her life. So, and I plan to continue learning. I love to learn. So there's always something new. So like we wrote a book last year for a publishing company that reached out to me to write a faculty book. And I am looking to continue doing things this year. My daughter and I are working on a children's book, so we'll see where that goes. And I continue to make meaningful relationships.
Wow. What is your, quickly, I just wanted to find out, what is your mentoring philosophy, and how do you prefer to mentor students?
My mentees, a couple of my mentees might be listening. My mentorship philosophy is I want you to know that I'm in your corner. And being in your corner is not necessarily, you're a student in my class and I teach you this subject. Being in your corner means that I am present for if you want to talk about something that's going on with you, that's impacting your performance. If you want to talk about your goals and you need direction, I like giving my mentees homework. So tell them, okay, I want you to look into this, or I want you to connect with this person, or I want you to email that person. Some of my mentees have gone off to do great things in their life. Some of them still reach back in and catch up with me every now and then. I love all the mentors I've had across time. I've had some really exceptional mentors, and I always want to be that for someone else. I hope that's one of the things I'm hoping for more in the future is to mentor more students within Dominica. We're living a digital world where it is possible to connect with people just about anywhere. So I would love the opportunity to connect and be there for other young people, and kind of just help people find the things that they need. Not necessarily, I won't necessarily be the person to say, oh, I can't do this for you, or I will make this happen for you, but I can definitely be the person to help support you as you try to get to those goals.
Nigel, I'm really enjoying
I love
this.
that.
It's like a classroom setting for me. I'm just sitting there and just taking all this in.
Yes. I tell you, I love my Dominican people,
Nigel.
We're amazing. Oh my God, we're so amazing.
Yeah. And the book is busy as well. A lot of comments. I mean, we can only...
Extremely busy.
We'll go to the comments after.
I think Max and Arlene Esper earlier wanted to connect. Okay, she says, Nigel, Ivona and Nigel, I need to connect with this beautiful young lady.
Yes, I'll send her
so Maxine will do that out of the program.
Okay, no problem.
I'll send you her number and everything, and we'll connect with her. That's fine.
Nigel, I mean, just sit there and listening to her, Nigel. Wow.
Yes, and the beautiful thing I love about this is that the way in which we were able to find the connection from Charlotte Nursery to Miami-Dade College, where you are, and that journey and that story, and how that foundation from way back then in nursery school and primary school and convent, how that has helped to shape you and build the foundation, and how you can always go back to it with your students.
Yeah, not only that, Nigel.
I went to Miami-Dade and I returned to Miami-Dade.
Yes, you see, full circle. Nigel, what I like about her again, so many names she mentioned, so you can see her connection with people. So many names from the get-go of the program. It's names from Charlotte Nursery to everywhere she went.
Yes,
to high school, to
the cousins and the friends and everything, and that connection. Connection.
I love my people.
Yes, and do you always tell your students about Dominica?
Every chance I get. Okay. So I've come across, I think, one Dominican student. Because of where my campus is, the population is a lot more Hispanic, but occasionally there's like some Caribbean students. So I've come across one Dominican student. I have a student in my class 1 year who, first day, I'm telling them about myself and I'm telling them about this island I'm from. And one of my students says, "Are you from Dominica?" So I said, "Yes." And I said, "My stepdad is from Dominica. We just came back from there." And she was so excited to connect that way.
Nice.
You know what's funny? My very first, so one thing I will say before I leave is that I am a huge believer in therapy and being able to have those opportunities to talk to someone. I think sometimes as kids, as teens, we sometimes feel so isolated and we think what we're going through is so unique that nobody can identify what we're going through. And we try to hold on to all these things and manage it on our own. And I did that for a very long time. And my junior year in college, it felt like everything was just falling down. And my program director for my MAC program took me over to the counseling department on campus. And my therapist was from Dominica. I sat in her office. I started telling her about myself. I saw her name on the wall. And I said, "Hold on." And she said, "Our families knew each other."
We are all over. We are
all over.
We are all over. We are all over. We just need to connect. And that's what we try to do on this program. I know we're out of time. What do you think about connecting the dots this program?
I loved it. Oh my gosh, I love this opportunity. I could talk to you forever.
I know.
I feel like there's so much I didn't mention about myself, but I think this kind of program is important because I know sometimes people think us Dominicans who migrate, especially, that we leave and we don't come back, or we only come back for like Creole Fest or Carnival, and no. There are so many of us out there waving our flags high. Like my daughter, every year I make her for Creole Day, she gets to wear her Creole outfit and take pictures and make videos and stuff. Throughout my life here, I've always been proud to be Dominican. I've always told people about Dominica wherever I go. Not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. And I just meeting other Dominicans and meeting other Caribbean people. I used to meet people who didn't even know they're from Jamaica, they're from Cuba, and they don't know about Dominica. They're like, "Oh, Dominica, where is that?" I've met people from Trinidad when I first moved here who didn't know where Dominica was. So there are those of us who are in our own ways trying to push our country, trying to make people know about our country. If people follow me on social media, I think just about every Instagram follower I have knows I'm from Dominica. I've tried my best to hold on to as much of my Dominican accent as I can, because I love our accent. I think our accent is just so beautiful. And I always tell people, why should I give up the sweetest accent on earth for anything else? So I try, when I speak with my students, I do try to speak in a way that they would understand, but you'll still hear the Dominican accent there. And when I'm talking to my parents, nobody can understand what I'm saying. So, but we are there. We're proud. We are doing everything that like we can, and sometimes we may are not able to come back home like we want to. I haven't been home in 10 years, and every other day my husband hears from me, I need to go home. I need to touch that soil. I need to bring my daughter to she already knows so much about Dominica, and she thinks only the people she knows are from Dominica, live in Dominica. So I can't wait for her to experience my homeland. I like Dominica is such a special place, and all people are so special and so brilliant, and we are so resilient. And the stories that Dominicans can tell you, the paths we've taken, like when we migrate, some of these stories will shock people because some other person would say, I'm packing up and I'm going home. But so many of our people fight through it, and they continue to fight through it to make better selves for better themselves, better their family situations, and we do it all while saying, hey, we're from the 767.
That is it. But yeah, we have come to the end of the program. We have run out of time. Naturally, I could sit there and just listen to her, you know.
Oh yes.
Seriously, and just listen to her for hours, because for me it's more than the depth of her knowledge. It's more like the breadth of her knowledge. She just sits there and she just remembers everything, and she just puts everything into context, and it just tells you, yes, this is a good guest. This is a good Dominican. Wow, I'm so proud, Nigel. I'm so proud.
Thank you so much for connecting with us today and being part of this program.
Miguel,
thank you, Miguel. And to all the others at Miami-Dade College. Yes, and all those at Miami-Dade College who was logged on and listening and viewing, we thank you as well. Listen, Dr. Goodfriend, we appreciate you. Continued blessings on your journey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nigel, what a program. And big thanks to Miguel. Let me say that as well, because Miguel is just, I don't even know how to describe him as yet, Nigel. I just cannot sum him up in just one word. He's just so much.
He always makes sure that he comes through.
Yes.
So we appreciate him.
Thank you.
Dr.
Goodfriend, thank you so much. All the best to you. I know a lot of people in Citronier are listening. I can see the book busy. I'm getting messages on my WhatsApp as well. So yes, your people are listening, and they are so proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Well, you as well, and continue doing all what you're doing, okay?
And thank you to all the DBS listeners. I can't believe going from being a child listening to DBS to being on DBS.
Wow.
Mind blown.
And I have a feeling we'll have you on again.
Whenever next you visit Dominica, you just go up to DBS Studios, just ask for Ivona, and you'll have the door open for you, so you can go through all the studios.
That's it.
Thank you.
All the best to you. Nigel, we'll do it again next week.
We'll do it again next week, and Dr. Goodfriend, we will connect again because we have a special program that I have in mind with another Dominican doctor, Dr. Victor, looking at migration and how it affects our young people and all the rest of it. So I'm going to send you a paper that she wrote. I'm going to send it to you, and we'll link up and talk about it. So,
all right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Again next week, my dear.
You take care. Okay, Nigel. We'll do it again next week.
We'll do it again next week.
So we join Major Mystic at this time, DG Fontaine.